White. Last video I talked about the color red, which was basically referring to the Red Party, the Republican Party, all the fucking idiots in the country. This video is titled White because it's going to be talking about white privilege, white supremacy, not only in the US but across the world. So I guess let's talk about it. I guess first I want to say that white supremacy and white privilege definitely do still exist. I hate whenever, white people are always saying like, these things don't exist. And then they fucking talk about like one scenario that refers to, like a personal situation. It's like, bro, on average, white people get more opportunities than everybody else. They get more leeway to do certain shit than everybody else. Like, I don't like when they say shit like that. And again, I just seen this video, I want to say it was like 2 days ago, where this dude was talking about how, how did he refer to it as? It was like this thing where, like, people kind of choose to ignore certain issues specifically by inserting personal experiences where, like, for instance, you'll say, oh, on average, blah, blah, blah. And then they'll be like, oh, that's not true. Because in my situation, there was a time where my friend or my family member, blah, blah, blah. It's like they basically just ignore, like, stats and, like, actual, like, recorded data specifically because they want to, like, bring up their own personal situation. But that's not how it works. Like, again, if you were listening, we're talking about averages. We're not talking about your personal experience, which could have been like super rare or something that really doesn't happen that often, or same thing on the other side of the spectrum. We're just talking about on average, like what everybody goes through on average. Everybody else has a much harder time in life compared to white people. And again, that's not to say that white people don't have hard lives and they don't go through some of the same stuff that everybody else goes through, because everybody's human. Everybody goes through different types of issues, whether you're homeless or can't get a job or going through certain issues like with money or something. Like, everybody has the same issues. But I'm saying that on average, white people are able to do much more than everybody else. Like, when it comes to job opportunities, they're the first ones to be looked at compared to like somebody that is black or Hispanic or Asian. And when I say that, because I know there's going to be a whole bunch of dumbasses that are like, oh, there's white Hispanics and there's Asians that look lighter. You know who I'm talking about. When I say Hispanics, I'm talking about the fucking brown people. Like I said, I'm half Mexican, half black. And I know there's going to be dumbasses that are like, oh, there's white Mexicans. Like, yes, I fucking know. But like I said, most brown people in America, shit, they don't know where the fuck they come from. And so, like I said, I don't know where my mom's family come from. She said they fucking trace back to Mexico and shit like that. But I'm talking about the brown Hispanics. You know what I'm talking about. But like I said, on average, it's like everybody, and again, that goes back to the white supremacy, because like white privilege and white supremacy, it's kind of like almost the same thing, but it's not. Because like white privilege just means like the different privileges that they have. Like, for instance, when it comes to law enforcement, if you had like a black person or a brown person getting pulled over, 9 times out of 10 you can expect them to have a tougher time with the police and kind of like resolving the issue than a white person, like who might get off with a warning. But with a black or brown person, they might end up in a situation where the cop is over here trying to fucking like, oh, put your fucking hands up, and then another officer's like, oh, stop reaching for this, like just kind of trying to escalate the situation on purpose to do something, or they give them a tougher time in terms of like keeping them stopped just because they're trying to look for shit, or maybe they plant some shit in their car to make it look like they have something, you know. So it's just like that's that's like white privilege right there. That's an example of white privilege, because like they have the privilege to you know, like have a much easier time with certain things because they're just white. But then you have white supremacy, which is like, in my opinion, it's like when, you know, it's like the starting point. It's like rules and stuff that are set in place for them to succeed, you know? Like when I think of white supremacy, like I said, you can go back to the job opportunity thing. So it's like when you're white, you know, you probably have a much easier time to get a job because, you know, people think that you probably grew up in a better household and stuff like that, because for some reason a lot of white people just automatically assume that every black and brown person is like they come from a dysfunctional family and they have a bad background and they're involved with gangs and doing all this other shit. It's like they don't think of black and brown people as normal fucking people just like they are. Like they don't think that a black kid could have came from a family where, you know, one of the parents was a business owner and this person was a cop and this person did this. But it's like with white people, they automatically assume that they're better off and they're better fit for the job and stuff like that. But there's no other explanation for it, just because, I mean, just besides the fact that they're white. Hold on. All right, and then another example of white supremacy is like the rules and shit like that and the laws. Like when you look at all the different shit, it's like there's so much stuff in place for white people to succeed and stuff like that. And that's why whenever white people always say stuff like, oh, there's white poor people and there's white homeless people and stuff like that, I kind of just like, I don't want to say I don't care, but I just don't feel bad, because it's like, especially out here in the United States, like if you're a white dude, you cannot be complaining about fucking anything. You cannot complain about anything, especially if you're a fucking white man, because bro, this country was literally built for you niggas, man. Like if you are a white man and you are not successful in this fucking country, I feel like you fail, bro. Like this system was literally set up for you guys to prosper. Especially nowadays, you know, like I said, they took the DEI shit out, which helped all the rest of us, you know, like other people and other genders and stuff like that. All of us were getting helped out by the DEI, not in terms of like getting more opportunities than you guys have, but just getting the same amount of opportunities. They took that shit out. Then not to mention, most companies usually always hire the white people first instead anyway. So it's like, I just feel like if you're white, you don't really have much to complain about in the US, bro, because like the fact that you live in a country where the laws were pretty much set in place for you niggas to succeed is just like, dude, you guys were pretty much, I won't say you were handed everything, but you were handed the tools to do anything. The rest of everybody else, bro, like think about this, right? Isn't it crazy how like everybody just tries to act like we're all buddy and we're all equal and we're all friends and shit like that? It's like, bro, just a few decades ago, we still had black people fighting for their rights, Hispanic people fighting for their rights, Native Americans fighting for their rights, Asians fighting for their rights and stuff like that. It's like, bro, this was not that fucking long ago. Like, we all have relatives that are still living that were from like the 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, all that type of stuff. These people were still fighting for their rights as if they were not just as much human as white people were. So I think it's just kind of crazy how everybody, you know, mostly white people, they always try to say to the rest of us, they're like, oh, you guys are just fucking lazy and you guys don't want to do this and that. And it's like, bro, stop right there, because first of all, y'all niggas have all the tools to succeed already. So I feel like on both sides it's really a bad look, because it's like, if you niggas succeed, it's like, cool, like you succeeded in a system that was built for you. But if you fail, it's like, that's pretty much your fault, because again, the tools were given to you to succeed. The rest of us, it's like we have to dig up from the ground up. Not from the ground up, from like below ground to ground zero, and then we got to go up from there, because it's like all the tools that were introduced to kind of like give everybody else fair opportunities and shit like that were taken out, because white people kept saying that it was like this reverse discrimination shit. Like, bro, can you think of how ass backwards that is? Like, we're sitting here talking about a country that was built off of black slaves, bought from Native Americans that were kind of like pretty much lied to. So you came over here. It's like, bro, just think about this, right? They fucked over every group. Bro, they fucked over every group that I'm thinking about this shit. It's like, bro, they pretty much scammed the Native Americans and bought all this land for like super fucking cheap, right? Then they brought black slaves over here to pretty much build the fucking country up. And then, hold on, I'm getting a call. Alright, this is the last fucking time that I think I have to pause the video. Damn, all these people calling me and doing shit. Okay, so anyways, like I was saying, it's like, bro, white people, they pretty much scammed Native Americans and then came over here, took their land over and bought it for super cheap and stuff like that. Then they brought black slaves over here to fucking build everything and, like get all the resources and picking cotton and doing all this other shit. And then they stole more fucking land from Mexico, like California and Texas, and pretty much like all those southern states connected to Mexico. So it's like, to create the United States, white people just pretty much fucked over every goddamn group, which is like crazy to me. But anyways, back to what I was saying earlier, is that all the tools in America are set in place for white people to succeed. And it also annoys me whenever white women specifically, because like, this is the thing that I fucking hate, right? It's like everybody tries to make it seem like gender issues are more important than race issues, and they're not. And the reason I always say this, right, is because before you're born, like before your gender is determined, before your religion is determined, or if you're not religious, before all that shit is determined on how you turn out later in life, what is for certain is your race. As soon as you are born, your race is already fucking determined. And before anybody's like, oh no, it's not, because like maybe the baby came out black, like the fucking white lady cheated on her husband or something. But I'm saying, like, assuming both parents, like you see the dad and the mom walk in and they give birth to the kid and stuff like that, you already know what race you are. So I feel like when it comes to importance of issues and which issues need to be prioritized, I always fucking hate when everybody tries to make it a men versus women thing, because that shit is not more important than actual race issues. Because at the end of the day, yes, you might face issues as a white woman, as a black woman, as a Hispanic woman, but at the end of the day, your fucking race is what matters even more than that. Same thing, it matters more than religion, it matters more than your gender, all that type of shit. Because at the end of the day, before somebody looks at you for your gender, they're gonna say, oh, are you black, are you white, stuff like that, like, that's the same thing that I'm gonna get into in the video about the black community, because they have a real big issue with this gender war stuff. And I'm like, bro, at the end of the fucking day, we need to fucking come together to unite, because regardless of what gender you are or what religion you follow, at the end of the day, you're still fucking black to them. Like, I don't understand why that's so hard for people to understand. Your race matters more than every fucking thing. So to bring this back to white people, the reason that I'm so frustrated with this is because white women try to remove their own agency in this shit, right? Because they always say, oh, this country was built for white men to succeed, right? And again, I know I said that earlier, but that's not the full truth. Like, again, it was built for white men to succeed, but who the fuck do you think that they get with, you know, when they have kids and stuff like that? They want to be with white women. So right behind white men, who are pretty much the people that this country is for, is white women. Straight white men and straight white women are the two most prioritized groups in this fucking country. So whenever white women try to kind of like act like they're on all of our side, like they're on the side of black people and Hispanics and Asians and Native Americans and the LGBTQ community and stuff like that, I'm just like, no, no, no. You niggas are still over there with the white men, because at the end of the day, while white women do come on here trying to spew all this stupid fucking activist shit where they're like trying to help out different ethnic groups and LGBTQ community and stuff like that, they still get with these fucking white men that still have these beliefs. Like, how many times do you see like a white influencer or something like that come on the internet and then expose her boyfriend for being like racist and all this other type of shit? It's like, why are you exposing him now? It's like, you knew this shit while you were in the fucking relationship, but apparently you didn't have a problem with it while you were with him. Now it's only a problem when he broke up with you and all different types of stuff like that. But the reason I'm saying that is because they're not on our side like how everybody else tries to make them out to be. And again, they try to be on our side because of the gender shit. They say like, oh, white men also put us down because we're women, you know. They try to make it an issue, but again, it's like, you're not fucking understanding. It doesn't matter what gender you are because you're still white. So at the end of the day, when some race shit does like stir up in the country, they don't care if you're a white man, a white woman, if you're gay, straight, religious, non-religious, whatever the fuck. At the end of the day, they put you on their side because they know you're white and they're white. So at the end of the day, like, all these fucking gender issues, like, don't get it twisted. Like, they do matter, but they do not matter more than racial issues. Like, I feel like white women are at fault just as much as white men are for the white supremacy and the white privilege in this country, because as much as they like try to say that white men are bad and white men do this, you have to think about it from this perspective. If white men did not treat white women bad, and again, that's not even saying that all white men treat white women bad, but that's just saying, like, if all white men treated white women good, they would be fucking complacent with the way things are ran, because as long as their position is not fucking threatened, they don't give a fuck about black people. They don't care about Hispanics and Asians and Native Americans and the LGBTQ community, because their spot is reserved already. But, you know, the reason that they try to make it seem like they're on our side is because it's like this, right? It's like you have everybody else that's not a straight white man, and then right above that group of everybody, you have white women, and then you have white men. So it's like, after all of us get fucked over, all the black people, Native Americans, LGBTQ, Asians, Hispanics, after all these communities and ethnic groups and stuff like that get fucked over, they know they're next up on the chopping block. But again, you have to get through all of those fucking groups to even make it an issue with white women. Like, they're not going to face any issues that black people do and stuff like that. So I just fucking hate when white women get on here talking about how they face issues just like the rest of us because white men don't like white women and they're misogynistic and they do all this type of shit. And again, that may be true, but you guys will never face any type of issues to the extent of everybody else, especially when you compare white women to literally any other women, because you got to think about it. If you're a black woman, not only are you facing, gender issues, but you're also black, so you're facing racial issues. Same thing with Hispanics. Not only are you a woman that's going to be facing tons of issues in society, but you're also Hispanic, so you're going to be facing, ICE and all this other type of shit that's going on. So it's like, that's what white women don't understand. When you remove the gender issues, you guys have no fucking issues to worry about. You have nothing to worry about. Everything, like I said, with the white men, everything is set in place for you to succeed. So whenever white women start complaining and doing all this other type of shit, I'm like, bro, other than your fucking gender, everything is set for you. Everything is set for you. Like when you compare white women to any other woman, any other man that's also a part of any other like minority, you guys are better off. You guys are better off. Like, and again, that's why I also say gender issues don't matter, right? Because if you take a fucking black man or an Asian man or a Hispanic man or someone like that, they're still not even going to get as much opportunities and leeway that white women get. So that's why I say that gender issues are not as significant as you guys like to make them sound when in comparison to race issues. Because at the end of the day, like white women are still above everybody else that's just not white men. Like, yeah, you guys might be right below the white men, but at the end of the day, you guys are still given better opportunities, more leeway, and all this other bullshit compared to other men that are a part of other minorities and ethnic groups and stuff like that. So gender issues needs to just be removed. I'm tired of hearing about gender issues and white women bitching and moaning about white men, because at the end of the day, bitch, y'all got more opportunities than other men out here and stuff like that. Like if it was a thing where, like all men had more opportunities than women and stuff like that, I'll be like, okay, I would be more willing to hear it. But that's not the case, because again, even though you guys are women, you guys are still white. So you're still prioritized over literally any fucking person out here aside from just one group, white men. That's literally it. But on top of, like I said, on top of white people being given the tools to succeed and prosper in this country, tools that were set in place for everybody else are actively being removed. So if anything, I feel like in today's age, especially with, bitch ass Trump in office, I feel like if you're white and you're not succeeding right now, like you are a fucking failure. I feel like you have failed. Like, I'm not trying to make this a super racist thing. I'm not trying to make it racist at all. But I just want to be, truthful in how I feel, because I hate whenever people come on here and they're like, they just think this shit is fucking Disney Channel where we can all be friends and, all of us have problems and stuff like that. It's like, no, a lot of us have a lot more problems than other people. And I'm so sick and tired of this like hive mind, especially on social media, where everybody is just, it's like nobody wants to speak their mind because they just always feel like they're going to get fucking attacked by people online and they're going to lose their fan base and stuff like that. It's like, bro, what the fuck did you even make a platform for then if you're not going to use your voice to speak out against shit like this or speak up on certain issues? It's like, I don't understand doing shit like that. Like if I'm gonna post anything on here, it's because I want my opinion heard. I'm not gonna be talking about shit that doesn't fucking matter and then not even bat an eye at all the important shit that's going on in life. And like I said, I hate when people bring their personal experiences on here. Like there might be some people that say the same shit that I do, but then they'll be like, oh, but I know all white people aren't bad because this one fucking friend that I had didn't do this and they helped me out with this. It's like, bro, I feel like the best course of action for white people in this country to truly prove that you are for the rest of us is to use your white privilege to take down the patriarchy in this country, but to also take down, like white privilege and stuff like that. Because as much as I always hear white people say, oh, I'm not racist, and white privilege doesn't exist, and white supremacy doesn't exist, and oh, I have black friends, and I have friends that are in this group and stuff like that. It's like, bro, you're still not doing enough if you're not using your white privilege specifically to take down the system. Like, that's the issue that they don't fucking understand. Black people can't go out here and do this shit because they're just gonna get fucking shot and arrested. Hispanics can't go out here and do that shit because the same thing. LGBTQ people always face tons of issues of their own. It's like the only people that really have the leverage to say this shit without like being harmed and shit. You know, like the other day we actually did see a white lady get shot by ICE and stuff like that, but I still feel like, you know, back to the average stuff, like on average, if white people were actively protesting for the same shit that all of us are, the country would be a lot better off. You know, like, yeah, we have these Black Lives Matter protests and stuff like that for you know, black people to be able to speak up and stuff like that, but it would be a lot more helpful if we had a lot more white people speaking out about the issues that all these other groups in the country face, because white men don't listen to everybody else. You know, they don't give a fuck what we're doing and what we're going through and stuff like that. They don't listen to anybody else except for each other. It's a big ass hive mind up there. But if other white people, other white men and white women started speaking out on the issues that the rest of us face, they would have to confront these fucking issues and these problems in the country, because now their own people are saying it. But because their own people are kind of like, you know, complacent with their place in the country because they're at the top, you know, nothing changes. Because again, it's like when white people go through something, it's like they all unite against everybody else. And that's the biggest issue right there, because they just don't understand. It's like, in order for anything to change, you know, like you could always say you're doing this to help and this to help, but it's like, unless you are actively letting it be known that Republicans are fucking destroying the country, racism is still rampant in this country, all this type of stuff, nothing is going to change. Nothing is going to change. So, like I said, this wasn't a video just to berate white people. It's just to say that these things very much do still exist, as much as they don't want to fucking admit it. And I feel like nothing in this country will change unless white people actively start helping take down the system. This is a system set in place for only white men and white women to succeed. So everybody else is getting fucked over. But if they spoke out against it, like I said, we could finally start, you know, doing different shit. Because even when it comes to the voting, right? How many times do you see white men and white women come on these platforms saying like, oh, vote blue and vote for the Democratic Party and do this and that and stuff like that? Like, they're speaking out about all this issue. I mean, all these issues and stuff like that in the country. And then when you look at the voting, white people are like always dominating when it comes to like the Republican Party. It's like, bro, somebody is fucking lying here. Like, there's no way all you niggas are advocating for the Democratic Party and stuff like that. And then you look at the voting, and damn near all these motherfucking white people voted for red. It's like, come on, bro. Stop fucking lying. And again, I know it sounds racist, but I just dead ass feel like I cannot trust white people. Like, I feel like they do too much like sneaky shit, you know? It's like they always want to act like they're buddy with you, but they will fuck you over in an instant, bro. They will fuck you over in an instant. They'll exploit you. They'll do whatever they can to get over on you. And it shouldn't be that way, but it is. It is on average as well. So, like I said, bro, I feel like white people are in no position to complain about fucking anything in this country. You guys were literally set to succeed. You were set to succeed. Everybody else had to pretty much dig their way up to ground zero and then still succeed. They always have to do more shit than white people have to do for roughly the same amount of pay or the same job opportunities. It's like everybody else has to bend over backwards to do something that a white person doesn't really have to do much to achieve, you know? So overall, like I said, that's all of what I wanted to say. The next video, I don't know when the next video will be, but that one's going to be blue. And it's going to be about the Democratic Party. But I will also make another video about blue, which talks about, you know, the whole Blue Lives Matter and the fucking blue badges. So, I'll have to find some time to make those videos. I don't have a lot of time now that school is back. But, yeah, that was all of what I had to say.